Hey everyone, Paulus here. So I'm really excited to show you today how to outsource, automate, and free up your time. So business growth, we all want it, right? We all try to grow big, profitable businesses, but the problem is with business growth comes big problems. So in my company, I've made a lot of the wrong mistakes and tried to automate too soon or didn't outsource something soon enough. And so today I want to show you when it's good to outsource, when it's good to automate, so that you can get back to having more of your time and getting past those major bumps in your growth. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to this video. So most likely if you're watching this video, you probably have some pains in your business. So whether it's you've made some wrong hires, you can't find employees, you've made some mistakes, you're kind of compromise some of the standards that you want to be doing in your business, like whatever the problems and the pains that you're having. In this video, I really want to show you how to get over those hurdles and those growing pains that you can have and know when to outsource, when to automate. So a little bit about me, I have been in the outsourcing and automation space for over 15 years. But the thing is I've never said, hey, I'm an outsourcing expert. Really, all I've ever really done is ask the question, like, how do we solve the problems that we have as entrepreneurs? In this video, I'm gonna give you a couple key tips on when to outsource and when to automate, and then so you can free up your time. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's first talk about outsourcing. I want to talk about what outsourcing is not first. So I've seen a lot of companies outsource a lot of their stuff and use it as a way to kind of deflect what their true problems are in their company. And so instead of really, I guess I always say, like, your business is only as good as you are. And so it's really tough to outsource things if you haven't quite worked through some of the things that you maybe need to work through first before you hand it off to somebody. And so I want to make sure that you know that outsourcing is not a magic pill. It's an appendage to your vision, and as a visionary, as an entrepreneur, it's your job to really know what it is that is your sweet spot, where you should be spending your time on. Okay, so now I want to talk about what outsourcing is. So outsourcing is a great way to have somebody else, where if you don't want to be the expert in everything and you want to find people that have a skill in something, outsourcing is a great way to get those things off your plate and working for you. It also is a great way to not have to be an expert in everything. So if you think about it, a lot of times we niche down, right, on our product or service. But the thing is that when we start to have to build teams in marketing and sales and a support team, you're no longer niche, because now you're having to figure out how to become an expert in all of these different things. So now I'm going to talk about when it's time to outsource. So Anita Roddick said, speed, agility, and responsiveness is the key to success. Everything I talk about with outsourcing, just keep that in mind: speed, agility, and responsiveness. So when it's time to outsource really depends on what stage of business that you're in. So if you think about it, I talk about 3 different stages: foundation, growth, and momentum phase of business. So let's first talk about when it's time to outsource in a foundation company. So a foundation is when you're starting to figure out, like, who your ideal customer is. You're trying to figure out what your purpose, your values, your vision is for your company. You're trying to find, who do I want to work with? What market are they in? What's my positioning in that market? Like, those are all foundational things you need to find out to figure out what your core product or service is. And so once you have that, like, it's a lot easier to outsource a lot of things. But a lot of times I've seen a lot of startups where they want to outsource a lot of that stuff before they actually have a lot of those foundational elements. It doesn't mean that you can't work with somebody to help you figure out what those are, but you are the visionary and you need to own that. That is yours, that you have to have. And so if you're in the foundation phase, outsourcing is great to do, like, tasks, or really getting the consulting to figure out, hey, I need somebody to help me with my positioning. If you're in the growth phase of business, this is really where you've gotten your first 10 ideal customers, and you're like, okay, now it's time to grow the heck out of this business. And so that's really that growth stage where you really want to put some speed and some fuel behind your core product. And so this is a great time when you can actually start outsourcing some of your programs and projects. So not just tasks, but you can start to get some of that off your plate. What's really cool is if you use an outsourcing company that has some pre-built models already in place, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So you don't need to go figure out how to do customer service or get your phones answered. Like, those are all things that can already be kind of pre-done for you. If you have a lot of custom programs and projects, as you start to grow, you can start to work with an outsourcing company to get some of those custom things done. So the third phase of business is momentum. And this is the phase when you've gotten your ideal customer, you've grown your company, you've gotten it profitable, and now you're at a point where you want to start creating more processes and systems that you can potentially automate. So the cool thing about the momentum phase is because you've fleshed out a lot of the processes and the things that you need in the growth phase, you can start to pick out the things that are worthy of automation. So if you like these videos where we talk about automation, outsourcing, how to grow a team, how to have stress-free super growth, I would love to have you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and we'll do a lot more of these kind of videos to get your business to run without you. Okay, let's go deeper into automation. So I want to kind of pre-frame automation first by reading a quote with you. And unfortunately, it's from somebody that I'm not a super huge fan of, but we'll go ahead and roll with it. So, okay, the quote is from Bill Gates, and he says, "The first rule of any technology used in a business is that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency. The second is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency." And so the important thing here is that you don't want to automate too soon, or it's going to be super, super costly for you. So the important thing to know about automation is that you need to do it manually first. You need to have the right people, and you need to just start. I've seen so many startups where they just overplan, and they don't just start. But the thing is that process is built by just doing the work, and then you can start to document it. And then as you start to build the processes, then you can say, okay, in this process, what is it that I can pick that we can start to automate? So the important thing to know with automation is that you have to make sure that you're gonna be able to get an ROI on it. So we have an automation in our company where we automate our employee onboarding process. So the reason why it makes sense for us is because we hire a lot of employees and we don't plan on that going away anytime soon. And so really what we've done is we've taken the manual process that we have and we say, okay, what in there can we automate? And so what we've done is literally with the click of a button, I'm not sure what the trigger is because I didn't build it, but like with literally a trigger, what happens is that it can create the Gmail accounts, the single sign-on accounts, all the different software, it sends out all the emails, and really it's really cool because we don't have to spend all the labor to do that. Now, what you might be saying is like, oh yeah, but I don't want to decrease the employee experience, or I don't want to provide less value to my customer. But the thing that's unique about outsourcing is that as people, we really don't care if it's automated. We just care that it creates a seamless journey for us and that we can have a good experience in what we're doing. And so you think about like the sales process in business. It used to be that 80% of the sales process happened with a person. Now what's happening is it's flipping, where 80% of the sales process is done through self-education online. And now it's even those from the ClickFunnels world, they're getting to where 100% of the sales process can be done without even talking to a person. And so it's really changing the way as people we interact and what we're okay with. So just understand that automation is not a bad thing. It doesn't decrease the customer experience or the employee experience if done right, and that is the key. So really, what makes an efficient operation? So I always talk about three things. So as you watch my videos, you'll hear me talk about these three things a lot. So a combination of people, process, and technology. And so you really have to have the right people first. That creates the process as you start doing the work. And then you can start to document the process. And then you can start adding technology into it. And then you can say, okay, what in that process can we take that we can start to automate? And so just as you start to automate, think of those things. Think of a Venn diagram. So people, process, and technology. And when you have good process and technology together, that is when you automate. And so a lot of times, again, people put the cart before the horse on this stuff and they automate too soon. Okay, so hopefully that gave you some ideas of when it's good to outsource, when it's good to automate, and knowing that you can't do things too soon. Okay, so if you want to learn more about what I talked about around the foundation, growth, and momentum stage of business, or around people, process, and technology, you can actually have a free presentation where you can go to stressfreesupergrowth.com. You'll be able to, we'll go deeper into these things and knowing what you need to do when, depending on the stage of business that you're in. So again, you can go to stressfreesupergrowth.com, and I'll see you there.